New rules, ladies and gentlemen. All right, new rule. If you don't want the world to think your religion is medieval, stop beheading people. You know, Texans are bloodthirsty and dim, and they learn to use an electric chair. Come on, Islam, join the 19th century. New rule, there are no Kodak moments if you can't show your face. And you thought your vacation photos were boring. Wife number 3, can you scoot in a bit? I'm cutting off your arm. Oh, wait, that's the arm I actually did cut off. And finally, new rule, people who run everything can't complain that they're underdogs. To wit, this week there was a highly attended conference in Washington called the War on Christians. Because nothing quite says I'm oppressed like the opulent Regency ballroom of the Omni Shoreham Hotel. Ah, yes. Whatever happened to that plucky little cult, Christianity? Oh, that's right. They're 80% of the American people and have taken over all 3 branches of government. Country music, public schools, the bestseller list, and until recently, Katie Holmes. You know, Christians, I don't mind that you're part of a dress-up cult that hates sex and worships magic. But the paranoia, that does scare me. You know, if you're going to be that paranoid all the time, just get high. And the worst part is, the people bitching loudest about being persecuted for their Christianity aren't Christians at all. They're demagogues and con men and scolds, and the only thing they worship is power. If you believe Jesus ever had a good word for war, or torture, or tax cuts for the rich, or raping the earth, or refusing water to dying migrants, then you might as well believe bunnies lay painted eggs. And Jesus never said a word about gay marriage. He was much too busy hanging out with 12 guys. Now, I know George Bush says Jesus Christ changed his heart, but believe me, Dick Cheney changed it back. The only thing Bush has in common with Jesus is they both went into their father's business and got crucified for it. New rule, don't force your delusions on your children. A company in our very own third world country, Florida, is producing Armor of God pajamas. Yes, what better way to spread the message of Christ than to put your kids to sleep in a Klan robe? Sleep tight, kids, the rapture's coming. Guess we should have put a hood on that picture. And finally, new rule, if converting to Islam is all it takes to get the terrorists off our backs, then all I have to say is... Now, this week, when 2 Fox News journalists were released by their Hamas kidnappers, I was shocked. Fox News has journalists? No, the shocking part of it was that all these Westerners had to do to get the blade literally off their neck was say they were Muslims. Just recite a 2-line pledge. Just say the words, there is no God but Allah, Muhammad is his messenger, and, oh, whoops. There, I did it. I'm now Bill, I'll shake your booty. Welcome to Saudi America. New rule. Keep Jesus out of strip clubs. A former dancer from Las Vegas has founded JC's Girls, a ministry that brings the healing power of the Lord directly to America's strip clubs and adult businesses. Do you people have to ruin everything? You've got the White House, the Congress, the Supreme Court. Can't you leave us heathens a couple of titty bars out by the airport? The only good news a guy wants to hear in a strip club is, sure, you can touch me there. And finally, new rule, if you're going to give God credit for all that's right with the world, like the flowers and the trees and large brown nipples. Sorry, Pat Buchanan. Then you have to admit that God is responsible for the bad stuff, too, like tsunamis and ringworm and that bad marijuana crop in '82 that gave everyone a headache. But I just don't get it. Why, when pointless horror strikes and God smacks us around, we go to church more? It's like we're Tina Turner and God is Ike. New rule, snorting your father isn't crazy. Eating your father, that's crazy. Which brings me to our final new rule. There is no devil, so stop blaming your screw-ups on him. Last week, one of the biggest evangelical leaders in America, the Reverend Ted Haggard, was outed for drugs and extramarital gay sex with a male prostitute. Or as Fox News reported it, John Kerry hates our troops. Now, this was big news because Reverend Haggard was frequently at the White House and a big fan of President Bush, who he described as tan, supple, and firm where it counts. And as president of the National Association of Evangelicals, Haggard presided over 45,000 churches and was a rock star for the Christian right. And like a rock star, he was getting his freak on a lot. Sometimes the sodomy left him so exhausted he could barely use idiotic old fairy tales to get people's money. Reverend Haggard's plight led many to ask, is it genetic? I mean, can a man actually be born a hypocrite? New rule, the Vatican doesn't need its own airline. The Vatican has launched the world's first airline for Catholic pilgrims with 3 holy destinations: Rome, Jerusalem, and wherever the Virgin Mary appears in a Dorito. Which is strange, because I thought devout Catholics already had an airline. A little late, but... And finally, new rule, consenting adults, not governments, must be the ones to decide what constitutes a marriage. But if you applaud that for gay marriage, you have to applaud it for polygamy, which comes from poly, meaning many, and gamey, meaning a musky odor in the bedroom. Now, by now, I'm sure you've heard how the Mormons are upset about a new HBO show called Sex with the Entire City. But you know, Mormons should just be happy that Scientology came along and made them the second weirdest. But for everybody else, if you really are for the principle that all families don't have to look alike, then you have to admit polygamy's hot. And if you take the husband out, it's even hotter. That's right, I'm not only for polygamy, I'm for gay polygamy. Okay, lesbian polygamy, but really, I'm for any sexual perversion the Swedes can dream up and the Japanese can make disgusting. So when the conservatives say gay marriage could lead to polygamous marriage, I say, quit selling Jesus, freak. You had me at hello.